All right. So we're going to look at another example of estimating an imperfect square root, meaning a number that's not a pretty number when we take the square root of it. We learned the triangle method, so that's the way I'm going to show you. First, I want you to note that this is a negative square root of 39. Okay, we are not going to deal with that until the very end, but you might want to make a mental note not to forget that negative, because then your answer would be incorrect. Okay, so we're just going to pretend right this second that it's a positive square root of 39, and we'll come back to that. I am following the steps on this sheet of paper that you should have in your interactive notebook. I'm literally going to follow it step by step by step, so you can open that if you would like to right now to follow along with me. The first step that it says is to draw a triangle. This is my really beautiful triangle, okay? And then to draw a circle on each vertex. So we have a vertex up here, so I'm going to draw a circle. Here's a vertex, and then here's my other vertex. Really, really perfect circles, I know, okay? And I'm going to label them just for instances of our brains, okay, A, B, and C. So that will help me remember, especially when we get to the subtraction part. Then it says step 2 is to fill the top circle A with the square root being approximated. So that's our problem. And again, right now, we're just going to say it's a positive 39. But don't forget that negative. It's important, okay? Then it says to find the perfect squares that are closest to the square root. So I'm going to get out my handy dandy cheat sheet, and I'm going to look at these perfect squares that are in these square roots over here. I want to find what two numbers 39 falls in between on this side. So it's obviously not between 1 and 4, 4 and 9, 9 and 16, 16 and 25, 25 and 36, 36 and 49. Obviously, 39 falls between those two numbers. Okay, so those are going to be the two numbers that I use. So I'm going to put, oh man, my phone just fell. It's cool. Okay, I'm going to put the square root of 36 here, surprise, and the square root of 49 here. And I'm going to note that the square root of 36 is 6 and the square root of 49 is 7. That's going to help me later, okay? The next step is to find the difference, and thinking back to our good mathematical thinking skills, difference means subtraction, between the square roots in circle A and circle B. So here's A and B, again, that's why we labeled them. I'm going to take 39 and I'm going to subtract 36. 39 minus 36, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 3. I'm going to put a little cloud around that. That'll help me later. The next thing is to find the difference between C and B. We're going to put the bigger number first. It doesn't make sense in this instance to have a negative. 49 minus 36 is 13. And again, I'm going to put a little box or bubble, whatever, cloud you want to call it. Okay. Now I have those two numbers. Then the last step says the approximation for the square root is the value of the least perfect square root. So what that means is I'm looking at these two and I'm going to choose the least one. And let me explain why. 39 is less than 49. So there's no way that the square root of 39 can be bigger than the square root of 49. That means that it has to be 6 point something. So 6 is my whole number. Or if that's confusing to you, just remember that it's always the smaller of the two. This is the part that I always mix up, which guy goes on top. So the way that I remind myself is that this guy's on higher ground in the triangle, so he gets to go on top. And that guy's lower, so he goes on bottom. Now that's all fine and dandy, that's an approximation, but we need to turn it into a decimal. So I'm going to simplify this fraction right here. Top dog goes in the house. The bottom dog goes outside. Okay, we add a decimal. 13 goes into 32 times. Now I could keep going with my division, but we're only asking for to the 10th place, so we only need one decimal place. So our approximation, we do a squiggly equal sign, which means approximately, is 6.2. Now, I put a box around it, but I want you to go back to our original problem. Our original problem is the negative square root of 39, okay? That means all you need to do at the end is make sure that you add a negative sign. So make sure that you remember that, because all the way back up here, it's a negative. And bada bing, bada boom, you have your answer.